So we actually didn't break back above the trend here on the 1 hour into close, which is kind of important and could imply a continuation of the diamond top failure that completed last week. We are holding above this kind of weird gap channel that I drew. I don't really know if that actually means anything, but it's there. We did get a low test today around 54.46, which is our first breakdown of that technical level this week. We did have one at the beginning of last week as well. Getting below that level is pretty important out here on the daily. This is the 54.7 breakdown is kind of where support has rested for the majority of the this week and last, and that kind of opens up that gap test at 4100 should we actually get a substantial breakdown at that level, which could take us down to 53.75 where the 30 EMA is. Failing that, we could move down to test. Well, we would lose 53.41, which is the prior monthly low, and then we could, lose 52.64, which is, I believe, that March top. All of the levels to the downside here are pretty important. There's not a lot to the upside. There is the potential that at some point this week we see that trend test somewhere around the prior high, like 55.40, maybe like 55.40. But right now, I mean, VN is in the way, so it's pretty unlikely that we see a swing to the upside, at least in the front half of this week. I would say that today retained some of the weakness from Friday, given that we didn't reverse Friday's price action, and still stayed within the lower, higher volume range of Friday's trading. For ES, I mean, that still leaves us very much in the wedge that we've been in. We are starting, we did get a new low on that today. And so we are starting to pick up a little bit of volatility, at least realized volatility, not actual volatility. That's gone and doesn't exist anymore, but a little bit more realized volatility. And we did get a reversal off of that. That may mean that we test like 55.60 again. We may not. We could break down. Tomorrow has quite a lot of data, but it does open up that like upside range here, like $30 or so, which would put us at about 5,500 SPX. Commodities bumped up a little bit today. Big move in oil. Oil up 2.35%, and we saw that. Also, coal moved up pretty hard today. BTU, a beneficiary of that move. Dollar slumped a little bit into the end of the day after peaking right around 2 o'clock. Yields are still pretty elevated. They've been moving back up at a pretty steady clip, and the 10-year is just shy of 4.5. Obviously, tomorrow's JOLTS data after tomorrow market open is going to be pretty impactful on that. We also have a speech by Powell that's going to begin at 9:30. So while the initial impact of JOLTS may not be much due to the hedging surrounding the speech, it may still have an effect throughout the rest of the day. So keep an eye on that. Correlation on the 1 and 3 month had started to reverse this morning and turned right back around and got slammed into the dirt again. NQ up 64 points today, Dow up 9, ES up 22, and Russell down 78. So breadth still a big problem on these index pumps, and given the amount of increase in correlation relative to the kind of unimpressive index performance, I would say that they're not really getting very solid returns on that volatility shorting, right? Like, we've been seeing diminishing returns for some time, but I feel like this is starting to get pretty extreme, especially if you look at, the historic, right? We are really at like an absurd level here with the dispersion trade. This is all-time lows by a long shot. JPY USD carry trade, synthetic swap that we track, is almost 9x levered. I actually think it might have hit 9x today. No, 8.97, but very close and above the prior 30-year highs and getting very close to our May 29th high that we saw kind of climbing out of that last major correction that we had. This is insane. But the yield curve is steepening a bit, and that is putting some pressure on volatility, which they're trying to mitigate probably until the larger data sets on labor are out this week. So probably not a lot of movement until we get NFP. But each of the employment data sets will have some impact, right? Bond vol up, correlation down, so that's still f***ed up. Skews picking up little by little, kind of stair-stepping down. So more and more tail risk hedging being picked up. I mean, I think we are definitely seeing some de-risking market wide, and I don't think that was just an effect of end of month or end of quarter. It might be, but we'll see if this starts to pull back. I know on RRP pulled back a bit today, but still pretty high. I think it's still around like 400 billion. And if we see that start to tick up again, that could be another indication. We have some bill issuance this week, like 3 and 6 and then a month, and then 4 and 8 week. We probably won't see a lot of movement into on RRP this week, but we could next week and going into OPEX. Correlation starting this week off positive yet again, with correlation between VIX, cash VIX at 2.97%. Last week they managed to short it down and get it negative into the end of the week. We'll see if they try to do the same here. I think this was a little bit higher today, so it's on track for them to do that, but it is starting to every week pick up a little more and more positive correlation. Fed fund futures still pricing in 0.33 cuts into the end of the year, so like one and a third cuts by January. I'm probably gonna move this out and start looking towards next July pretty soon, so we'll be changing the model on that a little bit. Ooh, RSP down 81 points today. Yeah, so breadth terrible today. So purely just smashing dispersion into tech and trying to float the indexes off of the back of the Mag 7. I don't think this is going to last very long, so they better get some positive data from the labor data, or this is going to tank. Yeah, anyway, that's about it. I guess I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at, well, whatever time I show up. I guess 9:30. If I don't have to pull my cat out of the vent again. Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys so much. And all of you new pigeon whales, welcome aboard. I don't know what encouraged you to all sign up in the same day, but thank you. I will have some information about the pigeon whale beta stream pretty soon. No problem. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.